too much aluminum in there, right? And that study's still out. So here we go again. I got an option for a pan. I'm going to pick up the stainless steel pan. I'm not going to use my aluminum. Is it going to kill you tomorrow? No, probably not. But I think the same way in everything I eat. My vegetables. We're back to Alamo Grow. That's what brought this around. When I put compost teas out and I put good, healthy, organic materials out, especially in home gardens. Now, it gets to be a war when you got 25,000 acres to fertilize on a commercial basis. First of all, I call that Franken farming, and we should get away from Franken farming. We shouldn't do Franken cows, and we shouldn't do Franken farm chickens. All right, and we wouldn't have BSE. It's a man-made disease the way we raise the animals. I'm positive. We wouldn't have avian flu because it comes when you put 5,000 animals in 300 square feet and try to raise them. They have yet to find a single case of BSE in a free-range cow. Not one. Free-range cows don't get it. Okay? Avian flus are going to be scared to death that the population of migratory birds were going to spread it. Hasn't been a single case. Even the one in Hungary this year that they blamed on migratory birds, they discovered a guy had brought in illegal birds and mixed them with other birds and put them in the market. So the migratory birds at this point don't have them. So anyway, we'll get back to tea. But there's, I guess what I'm doing here, for those of you that even listen to the radio show, it's sort of a philosophy. It's not just that I want you to make compost tea. It's part of a lifestyle. It's part of something different. It's kind of like when you diet. Y'all may have heard me talk. I weighed 185. And I didn't go on a diet. I changed the way I live. And I don't know how you get people to do that. It's a very different thing than telling you you can go on the Atkins or you can whatever, what's the latest, who knows. I don't even know. But I changed the way I ate and the way I did my life. If you're going to go organic and you're going to go natural at your home, you're going to find out that one of the biggest things in your arsenal is compost teas. Use them and find out. They're a magic that we don't even know the whole answer to yet. There is no silver bullet. It's not going to go jack in the beanstalk for you overnight. Okay, that's not the point of it. The point is it'll bring your soils back to life, which means you're bringing your microbes back to life, and the plants you grow in those are going to be better for you. They're going to have less pests. They're going to require less water. Folks, if you'll just plant and use compost tea and any kind of organic mulch, any kind of compost, I don't even much care what it is, unless it's too hot, too cold, too wet, too dry, wrong plant in the wrong place. There's a lot of reasons you can still fail. But if you get all those down, the rest of it's a cup of tea. It really does work for you. And I live on a rock in comfort. I have to have built-up gardens, and I mostly steal my vegetables from Malcolm Beck. I come once a week and work over there in an hour or two. He doesn't see me. I load my truck and no, I help him a lot. Even in that, in spite of that, on the rocks where I grow, I had 22 different species of flowers this year, including some roses. I'll thank Mike. I got them from here, but again, here I am stealing. That's not like all I do. Along the road between Comfort and Fredericksburg were the prettiest wild roses I'd ever seen. And they're starting to completely ruin that thing. They're widening the road. So a couple of years ago, in a fit of intelligence, which I rarely have, I stopped and got, I call them snippings, I guess the right word is. Well, I couldn't even kill them. That's the hardiest rose. My wife snipped them and cut them all around where we moved to. And I'm telling you, Mike wouldn't even believe this. She stuck them in the ground. We didn't do any propagating. We didn't do anything right, except we did what? Compost tea and good mulch. They're taking over my fence. I don't even want that many roses on that side of the fence, but in 1 year. And there's some kind of climbing rose, and they have a beautiful pink multi-petaled flowers, and they basically bloom till it's too cold to bloom. They're always blooming, whatever they are. Anything about roses, I love them. It's pretty. But all compost tea and all compost. I don't even use any other fertilizers unless somebody gives me a free bag. Maybe. I do remember now I have llamas and donkeys and Muscovy ducks and chickens and lots of turkeys. I got it. And I am using that. So when I say compost, it might be a little different than you get if you just take some leaves off your yard and throw some grass in it. Mine's got every living body in there. And I don't use this for vegetables because I always get this awe factor. But I also don't have toilets. All my toilets are composting toilets. And I put my compost back out and use it as compost in other materials. Again, my wife having the yuck factor she's got, we happen not to leave that with our other compost. But it sure grows good stuff. Composting toilets are, I don't know how much I say. We don't flush. About once every 2 weeks, it takes me 15 minutes to get everything together again, and you don't even know. My water all goes back out to where I eat and where I go. all my water, which incidentally in the state of Texas is illegal as hell. Can't use black water in Texas. What do they call black water? Your shower is black water in this state. Your dishwashing water is definitely black water. Now, you can eat that food, but if you wash your dish and you roll that on the ground and they catch you, it's a heavy fine. Ironically, I lived in the Thousand Oaks area of California, and if you didn't divert them, so you tell me it's not a political, it's certainly not scientific idea. It's somebody that's got their hand out or somebody that wants to be in charge. So I live on my own land, and I haven't had a permit for anything, so I just put it all out. It's actually a little swamp. I grow ginger and things out there that need water all the time. Why waste the water? Where does it go when you put it in the ground? It's basically unavailable to you. Eventually, I guess it does break down and do something. I don't know. So I go back to composting. I make compost and water. How do you keep your microbes alive? Put them out early in the morning, before 10 o'clock and after 4. Sensitive to UV, especially if you're soaking what we call foliar feed. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, they don't get stuck to the leaf right. You can help get people to do high pressure sprayers and really mist it, because my mistaken idea was the finer the mist, the more surface area on each drop, and the more you got to the leaf, right? Well, the newest thoughts are that you kind of cascade the water in bigger droplets. In other words, let it go down and come down. And the reason is they're much larger drops, and those drops last 15 or 20 minutes, and believe it or not, that's enough time for them to get home. But if you have drops that are misty, well, you've seen a plant, you missed it, and it's 5 minutes, it's dry already. So I guess on nice cool days, what's not going to happen, that my little sprayer may micronize it a bit. But in general, the effect is bigger, better drops. I would recommend for home garden not even spraying it. I use the dip and pour method. Dip it out. If you're going to get real serious about there's a thing called a cement sprayer. All it is a sprayer like your backpack, except it's got a lot bigger holes, 1/4-inch holes. And you can attach that to whatever you want, and you can spray up to 30 feet with it, and it sprays really nice big drops of good micronized compost tea. Most of us don't need that. If you got a big half-acre lawn, I guess you got to think about some ways to do it. But I use mine on my vegetables and on my flowers in the back. And, I don't know if y'all want Bergmansia.
Every month? Every month? Or?
Oh, well, I tell them you weren't here, yeah. When you're starting, if it's been a place that's been, I'm sorry, but the words abused for several years with synthetics, and you've had Kimlarn coming along, if you got time, I'd do it every week for a month or two, then go to every 2 weeks, then every 3 weeks. When you see you've got the results you want, you can cut back to 3 to 4 times a year if you want to be perfect. And that also goes along with if any and all organic matter you can get out there. I don't care how much. You can't have too much organic matter in almost any case. Yes.
And Bruce, you know, we have access to a microscope, not all of us do. And so, you know, we want to be assured of putting out something that is going to be
anaerobic.
Good.
Yeah.
And aerobic. And so, how can we be sure of that as a homeowner?
Well, I can tell you this, and I'm pretty bad at it. My wife's pretty good at it. You got the best instrument in the world. It's with you all the time. It's good. If it tastes like vomit, it's probably vomit. If it smells like urine, ammonia, it's probably ammonia. Okay, if it smells like puke, it's probably got something in it you don't want. And so if it smells, I mean, it sounds like a silly thing to do, but as you get through, go smell that barrel. It's earthy. I mean, really earthy. It's as if you picked up a really good, healthy thing of soil, and it smells wonderful, even if you're not offended. You people offended by most odors, something's great about the dirt, the soil. Right. And if it's that way, you use it. If it's not, pour it back in the compost pile. Pour it somewhere you don't want to put it on your plants. But that's going to tell you either you put too much molasses, too much compost, you let it go too long, you didn't have enough air, it was too hot. There's a reason for it. Go back and think what you did to correct that. And you'll learn. There's nothing to it. With the buckets that Mike and them have here, and you just follow that little simple page that's in there, I can honestly tell you, I'm not sure I've had anybody call me back and tell me they didn't have bad tea, that they couldn't tell me what they did wrong. They knew when they said, oh man, I put 2 cups of molasses in 5 gallons of water. What does that do? That stimulates the microbes so fast that they use up all the oxygen, and then they go anaerobic. Now, one thing where I differ a little bit from Elaine Ingham, anybody follows her, I'm now dealing with a guy named, I love his name, I think when I write a book, his name's Vinnie Pinto. Isn't that a great name for some Italian guy in Connecticut? Well, he's sort of a mad scientist. And he's been working with a guy named Dr. Higo, and they're doing a thing called EM, effective microbes. Essentially, anaerobic